Hey guys, I'm here today to talk to you about what is an option period. So, option period is when you get a house under contract, and normally it lasts 7 to 10 days, and that's where the buyer is doing their due diligence on the property. Due diligence meaning inspections. They're getting people out, getting quotes to contractors. They have the unrestricted right to terminate the contract during that option period, and they pay for it. So when you sign a contract, there's going to be two checks that are due. One is the option money check for around $100 to $500, depending on the price point. That's written to the seller, and that is credited to the buyer at closing that it's already been paid. The second one is the earnest money check. The earnest money check is normally 1% of the sales price, and that's written to the title company, okay? That is also credited to the buyer at closing. If the buyer decides to terminate the contract for any reason, does not have to have any reason to terminate the contract during the option period. They can terminate for any reason they like. They will lose their option money, the $100 to $500, depending on the price point, but they will get their earnest money back that was written to the title company. It can take around 5 to 7 business days once we actually get the release of earnest money signed off by all parties, and then you have to have a buyer termination contract as well signed, basically stating that the buyer is terminating the contract. But both of those are in place, and it normally takes about, it could be 4 or 5 business days for the title company to refund that money back to you. But you will be entitled to that. At this point though, whatever monies you have spent out of pocket to pay for, in the sense of if you have ordered your inspection and done your inspection already, you will not get that money back. Normally an inspection will cost you around $500 to $600. We have an inspection company. We recommend Houston Inspections. They do a great job. Sean Emmerich over there and his team, they will crawl through the house no matter what the age is. That cost can range from $400 to $1,000 depending on how big that house is, if it has a pool, if it has a sprinkler system. If it's over a certain age, I would say over 1980s build, 1975, 1980s, there's a test called a hydrostatic test that I recommend that you do. That's where they test the drain line to see if there's any leaks. Homes that were built back in that timeline were built with cast iron drain lines, okay? So PVC is what the new builders will use now, but cast iron has a life expectancy of 40 to 50 years, and that does not include if there's any issues with big trees and roots or anything like that around you. So you do a hydrostatic test, that's an additional $400 or $500 charge. The seller actually has to sign off on that, and you would do that during your option period. This kind of goes back to why you need a good team, a good agent that's going to be on your side to make sure all these things get scheduled in a timely manner. As soon as you sign that contract, you need to be ordering the inspection, because normally if the inspection company is any good, they're going to be 3 to 5 days out. So your option period is 7 to 10 days. Normally it's 10 days. So we get that inspection scheduled right off the bat. Normally have it done around 3 to 5 days into the option period. We get it back. If there's any issues on that inspection report, we start to get on the phone and we get quotes together. We're calling our roofers, we're calling our HVAC companies, we're calling the foundation companies, whatever is flagged on that report, we track down and see how much it's going to cost, and we get a quote. We compile our information and we talk about where we want to be. You know, normally the seller's not going to just replace a roof if the roof is not leaking. If the roof is 12 to 13 years old and, you know, it needs to be repaired and it's, you know, it's got some life left, that's normally what we're up against. So we get a quote to repair it and we get a quote to replace it. Once we have those back, we kind of pitch it, or I normally kind of pitch it like, hey, Mr. Seller, you know, yeah, your house is, or your roof is 14 or 15 years old. It's not leaking right now, but it's going to cost me $1,200 to get it repaired, and it's going to cost me $8,000 to replace it. I'm asking for a credit of $3,500 from you. And normally when you word it like that, you get pretty good results from it. And so instead of going, I want a new roof, it's just not going to happen, okay, unless it's just the market's just dead and they have zero competition. But at the end of the day, you want to play nice with them, because this is not your last round of negotiations. You still have the appraisal that has to happen, which we'll talk about in another video. But nonetheless, you've got to keep that in mind. This is not your last negotiation. Don't expect to get more than 1% of the sales price on negotiations unless you have a big ticket item. A big ticket item being an HVAC system, a roof, a foundation, a drain line. These are deal breakers that if you can handle one of them, Normally you can't handle 2. And it's very costly when there's more than 2 involved. So anyways, we'd be happy to chat with you about this. These are all things that we go through in our buyer consultation, but a lot has to happen during that first or 10 days is that option period. So keep us in mind if you're thinking about purchasing a home. We'd love to have that conversation. 832-581-3661. Again, this is Chris Boyles with CB Realty. Thanks for watching.